Hey, hello, and welcome again to our Mastering RMM sessions. And today we're going to talk about the tickets created by Communicator. So we'll quickly do a quick recap of what we covered yesterday because we had the Communicator session yesterday where we just talked about this item. So very quickly, uh, the communicator or the system tray is supported on Windows and Mac machines. It's 100% driven through the policies. The general policies can allow you to set messages, running scripts, and also defining what kind of branding would you need on that particular endpoint for your logos, your mouse server, and what things can be controlled. But the most important part that we are going to be focusing today is about tickets. So one of the important aspects that partners need while interacting with the end user is empowering the end user to create their own tickets. And when they start creating their tickets, how that tickets come over to them, how they can update it, and how they can respond, we're going to go through that session today. So I took a small snippet of the entire configuration for the ticketing, and I'll just quickly run this through, and then we can go through a live demo session for that particular, end-to-end flow of the ticket generation and how you can customize that the way you need it. Now, first one is the create ticket function. Not every communicator menu needs to have a ticket creation enabled based on how you want those clients to interact with you. If you are okay with getting those tickets and stuff like that, you can enable this particular function. So enabling the toggle, it kind of opens up the sub menu underneath. The first one in the drop down list would be send tickets to, as in where you want those tickets to be routed to. Most of the times, if you have the help desk, you would prefer to go to put those tickets over to the ConnectWise help desk team so that we can work on those tickets on your behalf, and then they'll work and they respond back and resolve those issues directly with the end client out there. Now, in case if you don't have the ConnectWise help desk, you can always route those tickets over to you as well. And those tickets would sync over to your PSA if you have enabled the PSA function. The ticket generation cycle is like very quick, like within a couple of seconds, the ticket gets generated so that anybody on your team can quickly jump on it and try and work and resolve those issues out here. But while doing so, sometimes, some partners on the PSA front, they might want to have a workflow rule that routes those tickets to a specific user, to a specific group, specific boards, specific service queues and other tasks and things like that. So to make things easier, we also have a feature that says add a ticket prefix. What it does is any kind of prefix that is being added to that particular field within the policy, that prefix can be utilized. Now, this could vary based on each policy. So you could have multiple variants of the communicator policy, included in different packages, set against the clients, set against certain endpoints, set against your packages, and every one of those would follow that same pattern in terms of using other tickets. Now, here are some of the documentation about that, but I'll share this links on the chat as well as will be available for you. But let's quickly jump in for a demo here. So I hope you can see my screen here. I'm going to use this product PC as one of the test accounts here to quickly go through this. And very quickly, here is my test instance that I'm going to use today on my machine. So up here, if you see the icon is slightly different. I've just pre-configured that a little bit, so it shows up a difference with respect to the default. So just to recall, the default icon over here is a wrench that shows up on the machine. So here you can see I have set an override, but you could have different policies coming in either at a site level. You could use the policy groups because Communicator is an endpoint level functionality, so you can use policy groups as well. So I've purposely customized it here, and you can always customize it the way you need it. So this is the section that I'm going to be focusing here today for the tickets create part of it. You can always turn off. You can turn on things the way you need it. You can also define where the routing should go here, which I just talked about, and also the ticket prefix. So it's not necessarily you need to have a CW demo, and I can change that to Mastering RMM as my prefix. And once I practically save this particular function, the changes are getting pushed on that particular endpoint in real time. So as soon as the machine receives that communication update, uh, the tickets which are going to get generated, which are eventually going to show up over here in the tickets section, will show up those details as well. So let's hop on to the machine because that's where the magic lies. So this is the communicator icon. I'm going to right click on that, and you see here the changes are not in because I was just trying to play with those configurations. So it might take about a minute or so to show those changes up here. So these changes are practically going to be driven again through these settings here. So whatever settings are going to be enabled, this is going to be effectively pushed out on that particular endpoint. So very quickly, if I can just walk you through, by the time the changes that I pushed about a minute ago is being updated here, and you can see these changes are effective. So a few seconds ago, this was not showing up. Now the updates are applied here. So I'm going to open the ticket create menu in front of you. So it's a very basic form. Currently, we don't allow further customization out here, but that is work in progress from our side. We should be able to get that done. So for the name, I'm just going to put my name here because I'm the user who's trying to create these particular ticket. Just need to fill in the phone number. I'm just going to put in the ConnectWise number. I'm going to put my email address here, cw.com, so that this is available or handy for our guys who's working on a ticket. He needs to know who's the person who's logged in the ticket. Now, the phone number and email address also helps in case if these endpoints are kind of shared endpoints. If the same machine is being used by multiple users, these things kind of helps you narrow down who that user is requesting that particular ticket. And I'm going to say I need, I'm going to say install Google Chrome. And I'm going to say in the description, install Google Chrome on my machine. This is just enough details here for logging up a ticket. And as soon as I click on the submit button, the request is being initiated. The user is going to get a notification that the ticket was created. And now, based on the configurations that were enabled or applied on this particular endpoint, the ticket should show up right here on the portal. So I'm going to go to the tickets tab and see here, there is a test ticket getting created with the details. So if I can just quickly open the ticket is going to show the details and the content that was being updated by the user. And you can practically use information the way you need it. So here is the details that's been put in the ticket. I'm going to close this out, and we are going to create, so the user can create as many tickets as they would like. And each of these tickets, when getting created in the PSA front or on the RMM front, they are both going to be associated with the endpoint reference, the target endpoint from which the ticket was generated, because there is an agent. The agent knows what is the target machine out there, and it will also include all the content which is being put up over there. So, and again, as we saw yesterday on the session, you don't necessarily need to remote into the machine. You can also use the communicator messages down to communicate, because the user requested for installing Chrome. I can check with him using the messaging here, whether he wants to do it now, he wants to schedule it. So the technicians would basically know how, what, and where things has to be configured and updated. So that's about the ticket generation cycles of it. And as I mentioned about the URL prefix that comes in within PSA, all the major PSA supports workflows. They can read out the subject line for certain keywords available. Those keywords and those routing can be done to specific users. You can do a user assignment, or you can also do specific assignments to any boards, right? And that can also be driven up through the policies. So we do have the the ConnectWise PSA policies available that can route those tickets to a dedicated board for specific customers and things. So combining the power of the RMM communicator, trading those tickets, and also utilizing the power of the PSA to route those tickets to a different board, in specific will allow you to, make things super easy for your technicians and for your clients to interact and work with their requested tickets, to view their information and things like that. And with that, I can take any questions if there are. Right, so there is a question. Is there a way to automate users' email address from the machine on the ticket field? With CW Automate, we have seen issues where users type an email address and it causes the ticket not to sync with PSA. A great question, Todd. Currently, it's not fetching up the user's email address automatically in this particular form, but we are looking at ways by which we can reduce the input from the user and map those information out. One suggestion that I could provide here is as the tickets would always be associated to an endpoint, if the endpoint and user association is set in PSA, you would always have the email addresses being populated. So it doesn't matter what email address is being populated from here by the user. It's basically going to get in the ticket body, but the actual contact should be available within the ticket for references. All right. Next one here. When the user submits a ticket, do they get notification of some kind, like an email? Actually, they don't get email for that, but they do get a soft notification prompt that shows the ticket was submitted successfully. That shows the corresponding ticket credit on the RMM front, and within seconds, the ticket gets synced over to your PSA as well. But we are planning to expand the ticket function. So if you would like to configure that the user gets some sort of a confirmation and things like that, we could write up a workflow using ConnectWise's workflow feature to send them an automated email about their acknowledgement, and we can also pass the ticket number from PSA that was received against that. Yeah, but a good question. All right. Any other questions with the ticketing piece of it? All right, so I'll quickly jump back to my slides here. So here are references. It's these QR codes are also made available to you on the chat, so you should be able to see those information over there as well. But you can scan them now and have a look at them in case if you need any reference material or documentation for that. But before ending up the session today, do join us tomorrow for our session where we will be doing a live Q&A and go through the questions with respect to anything you want to know about Communicator. All right, thank you so much. Oh, I see you. All right, I see one question. Sorry for that. Is there going to be a self-help option on the roadmap or even URL link options? I'm not sure, Chris, if I fully get the question here. Self-help option on submitting a ticket, or the URL option? Are you referring it to a communicator routing it to the users to a different page or something? Then the URL piece is available within Communicator. You can customize URLs and route them to different places like your website or some other forms or other sections within the system. You should be able to do that. But I would like to get more details about the self-help option. All right, but feel free to join us tomorrow, Chris, and we can have a live Q&A over there to go through additional questions and try and answer those things out for you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.